opposite me, but we were leading anyway. And then, and after the game, we lined up. None of the other teammates wanted to shake my hand. And then, as I was walking to the locker room, this father comes up from like the third or fourth bleacher and walks towards me. He's like, "Number 33." And I'm thinking, oh, he's going to say something nice. I turn around and he's like, "It's a shame they let you back in. It's a shame." And I think that was basically, it was like the day I decided that like I cannot go back to like, I just couldn't go back to high school at the time. Like I needed to graduate early. I convinced my Desi parents, and I can make fun of them because I'm Indian, right? They were like, you get a B and they're like, the whole world comes to an end. You're like, you got a B? So they didn't want me to graduate early because that meant losing out on the 7-year medical program. But eventually, what I learned is that people, so like someone like my coach, right? He defended, he had no idea what the heck it was. He had no idea what it was called. He had no idea like why I wore it. He just knew like I did it because I felt that it was like something important to me, right? And the one thing that did happen though afterwards was that we were in practice and everyone was throwing like the F-bomb here and there. And I didn't even swear, right? But I said, "Shh." And he stops practice and he pulls everybody aside and he's like, "I know that when she says something, like your head's not in the game and you guys are acting like chickens with your head cut off." I don't know, he used to sell some crazy things. But my point is, in his mind, like there was something different. Like I followed something different and I held myself to a higher standard according to him, right? Whether it was like the purity of the tongue or the purity of the mind or whatever state that I thought was important. So I'm not trying to present this as someone who doesn't cover. So for example, my mother does not wear the head veil, okay? I consider her to be the most pious person that I know, like on the planet, like to me at least, right? She does not wear this, right? She covers herself in a manner that I think a lot of the women have and even men have in here. And her understanding of the tradition is that it's of modesty, is that it's how you present yourself in your character, how you interact with others, and I think that's a very valid form. I'm not trying to say that, like, again, that's why I said it, I'm not trying to present this celebratory type of understanding of like Muslim women who wear the veil. But at the same time, what I've questioned today and challenged you to do today is that, are you stereotyping those who do, right? Or are you being biased towards those who do? And I think that's where I'd like to end. And thank you for, I know I said a lot of things.
Can I get one more round of applause for her, please? Thank you. Thank you so much for the amazing talk. I hope you guys benefited as much as I did from the talk. And thank you for being here with us this afternoon. And just a reminder that Sam Awareness Week is going on still. We still have more events. We have an event tonight. We have the Hijabi Monologues at 8 o'clock in Galvin Auditorium, as well as other events throughout the week and a dinner on Friday.
Galvin's in Crown, right?
Galvin? It's in Sullivan, yeah. We also, we have more refreshments still, so feel free to help yourselves after the event. And one more thing, if anyone who has tried as you guys know, today we also had a walk a mile in her hijab, which was a program, a lot of girls signed a pledge to wear the hijab for a day and see what it's like to walk a mile in her hijab. And we were just wondering if anyone in the audience who did this today would like to share their experience. If you want to, if not. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm Jill. I'm a freshman history major. I guess that's how we always start off conversations. And I decided to wear it because I know a few years ago I was really under the impression that, if you wear a hijab, you really are oppressed, and oh my gosh, you poor woman, oh my god. But now, from then to now, I've made such like a complete change, and so I realized like if I wore it as a symbol of like solidarity with other Muslim women who wore it, and I've been reading up on it and what it means to the community and everything, how it is just like for God and everything, and I thought that was so beautiful and so totally not what I thought before, and so that's been my experience, at least like personally. I mean, no one's been like, hey, are you Muslim today? They just like looked at me weird. They're like, what's on your head? I'm like, let me explain. And then, you know, but they've been nice. So yeah.
Hello, my name's Kaylee. I'm a sophomore international studies major, communication studies major, and I did this today. We had someone come to our class and speak about it in Islam Awareness Week, and I really, I love learning about religions. I'm just very open and like very curious about pretty much everything. So I just like have always been fascinated with the hijab, and I've always wanted to wear it. I've always like been really curious about it. I think it's really beautiful, but obviously I never wanted to be blasphemous or be offensive in any way, so I like jumped on this opportunity. And I was really nervous at first because, as I said, I never want to give off that impression of being blasphemous or offensive in any way. So I put it on this morning, and I'm a tour guide here at Loyola. And so I put it on to go to work, and I'm like getting breakfast in the little cafe in Mundelein, and I'm like really nervous. And the first thing that the checkout lady says to me, she's like, "You look really beautiful. Like, I'm Muslim. Like, I'm really happy that you're doing this." She's not wearing the headscarf, but she's like, "I just really appreciate that you're doing this. Like, good for you, blah blah blah." And it just like totally calmed my nerves. I like told my whole tour group about it, and they were all really impressed with it. My first class of the day was International Studies, my 101 class. To the major, and we're studying the Middle East, and it was like totally pertinent to everything. It just like seemed like really fit into my day, and people were very receptive, very nice. I would see girls wearing the hijab around campus, and we'd like smile and wave, and I didn't even know them, and like everyone was just like so sweet. So it was a really great experience, and I'm so happy that I did it. And it's really great that you guys give us an opportunity to be able to wear the hijab and know what it means and spread the awareness of how wonderful it is.
Hi, I'm Janet Fair. I teach Japanese and Asia 101 here, and this is the second year I've done this. And I can tell you from a technical point of view, putting on a hijab the fourth time is much easier than putting it on the first time. So just technically, I was less worried about it falling off. Second, I think it must take time to get reactions from the public that's not used to this. This time I took public transportation aboard home on Monday night after the workshop, took trains. People are not noticing me. It's just, I didn't get any reactions yet. I did want to put in a word about my perception of at least United States males. I've lived in some other, I lived in Japan, and I can't speak for them, but it seems to me that part of the concern about women's beauty comes either from people who are selling cosmetics or clothes or other women. Because most of the men I know are not that interested, for example, if women have makeup. And the men I know often hate makeup, and they're not nearly as interested in our hair or our clothing as the women are.
Sure. I'm Olivia. I'm a sophomore English and Communication Studies major. And I decided to wear the hijab for the day, partially because I just started doing a project on Muslim women's fashion. So if any of you Muslim women want to talk to me about it, that would be great. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts and stuff like that. So, but I decided to wear it also because, I'm a Christian, but looking at me on a normal day, you would never know that just by looking at me. Whereas Muslim women, if you wear the hijab, you know immediately you're representing your faith, and I think that's really beautiful that you can carry that responsibility so physically and visually, and just thinking about how much more that affects your behavior and the way you just go about your life. It's a constant reminder, and just a beautiful example of modesty, and I don't know, and that's modesty is a common value that I have, but I think it's this is a very concrete way of showing it, and not sort of a whatever. I mean, it is what it means to you, but it's a more visual representation of it. And I just think it's really beautiful, and I've had a really sort of fun experience with it. Everyone I know has done a double take today. They're I didn't even recognize you, and I'm yeah, well. And that's really interesting because it's like just my hair that's covered, but that would immediately like make someone not recognize me. Or I've had a couple of people just like in the library or something like staring at me because like I'm white. I'm not someone that you normally see wearing a hijab, but just like sort of staring at me like I don't really get it, but okay. But yeah, I've just had like a really good experience, and I feel, and it is like you feel a sense of community about it, and I think that's really beautiful.
Hi everybody, my name is Elizabeth Lozano, and I teach intercultural communication, so actually this is absolutely 100% pertinent. And one of the things I tell my students, or that we talk about, and I think it has to do with the question that you asked before, one of the things that we talk about is that the way we dress, the way we understand our body has everything to do with our sense of identity. So changing the way we dress is actually thinking of ourselves in a different way. So unlike my wonderful student, Olivia, nobody will think of me as modest. So it's not exactly how I would dress. But at the same time, one of the things that I think is interesting and lovely is that the hijab is actually beautiful. So if you're wearing it not to be beautiful, you're failing. You're absolutely failing. You look absolutely gorgeous. And there is definitely a celebration and a fashion sense that comes with it. That has to do with playing with forms and playing with shapes and actually playing dress-ups to some extent. But there is obviously a profound religious reason for that. So one of the best ways that we can learn about other people and learn about our own assumptions is to be that other person for a moment, is to behave or walk or dress like they do. And this is again something I wanted to do for a long time, because it's absolutely the opposite of how I dress in many ways. So in a way, it allows me to understand the ways my culture restricts my body, because bodies are restricted and displayed in all cultures. So one of the reasons we were thinking that the presenter was biased is because the presenter asked questions as if it was normal the way the American mainstream behaves and abnormal the way the other women behave. So, and I was talking about class, about the fact that wearing a bikini, shaving your legs, having breast implants is tremendously oppressive. Being half naked or feeling that we have to be very pleasing, or putting ourselves on diets, or wearing high heels is actually, the veil doesn't affect your brain, but actually the high heels do affect the feet terribly. I don't know, is this terribly irritating, this microphone? So for me wearing this, my first impression is really lovely. My impression is not I'm hiding myself, my impression is I'm celebrating something. And it invites myself to behave differently. I have several kameez salwars, which are from Pakistan, and I wear them in days when I want to feel more complete spiritually. Because this is common to all cultures. When we want to feel particularly highly spiritual, we change what we wear. Why is a culture that doesn't do that? I mean, brides wear different clothes for a bride day for a reason. So do grooms. And the hair covering, I think, is very interesting because nuns do it, Orthodox Jews do it, Sikh do it. We can do this song. We are all doing it, right? The Rastafari do it. Lots of cultures consider the hair precious and sacred and style it. So for me, this is kind of like an opportunity to feel in the way of other people and other ways of being. So it's a different kind of beauty. It's not less beautiful. It's not, you are show-offs, I'm sorry, in a different way because this is gorgeous. But it is also a practice, a religious practice, and anybody who has a religious practice will agree that that we want to wear something that goes along with that. So thank you to you, actually. Thank you to the people who